I know sometimes it takes a minute for people to get on here, so hang on just a second. All right, welcome guys. Welcome Jackie. Again, we kind of have Zoom going here at the same time here as in our group. All right. Okay, I am going to just make sure here I see everything okay. Okay, it looks a little different here on Zoom for some reason. Resume share. It was resuming and now it looks like it's not. Let me make my screen a little smaller again. Okay. Looks like it's a little delayed. Okay, there we go. I think I have to keep it small here. So, all right, guys, it is time to go. It is 8:30 on the dot. So welcome, guys. Just a really quick introduction. I know some people cannot make it live, so you are watching the replay. We are going to be walking through one of our AV Wellness workouts tonight, one of our workouts that is available on our app or on our website. And I'm going to just give you guys a ton of information. Some of these things you probably never thought of before, but I think you're going to find this very helpful to give you some guidance and just some instruction for wherever you're at in your workout journey. Maybe you're brand new, maybe you've plateaued. I know when a lot of you joined this Busy Moms group, that was one of my first questions is, where are you at in your workout journey? And it seems as though many people have plateaued. And this will be really, really helpful to give you guys some insight into that area of improving your fitness. So my name is Amanda Villarreal and welcome, guys. I am located here in Zeeland, Michigan. We have 5 children, ages now just turned 19 yesterday, down to 5. We are a very busy family. My husband Art works full-time and I have a fitness studio in our home. So I do in-person group fitness classes 5 days a week. We also have our virtual fitness studio. I am also a certified nutritionist. So I work to do meal plans and do nutrition consults, help people get them guided in supplement programs and helping to improve in small steps families' health. So all around, guys, that's what our Busy Moms group is about, is to help implement strategies to help you all as we're busy. And I've been doing this for almost 30 years to be able to share some of what I have learned. And I always am staying current on what research is telling us. And I think you guys will find too, as we're walking through this, you know, things have changed and research is always telling us new things. And it's important that we do stay up on that research. And that's what's also going to help us to be able to maximize our results. So one of the very first areas I wanted to cover here a minute, and again, feel free to add comments or questions, guys, as we're going here. I would love to hear from some of you if you're finding what we're sharing here to be helpful. I have been trying to go every Wednesday in this group. We've had a couple times when we were gone, but every week with a different topic. So if you're finding these helpful, I'd love to hear that. Or if maybe there's something you're really struggling with, I would love to hear that too. Coming up in the next few weeks, I do have a fun challenge in this group. We are going to be working on a Eat the Rainbow challenge. So we're really going to be hitting our diet with fruits and vegetables coming up. So that will be kind of fun. But you have some things you would like to see. We would like to hear those things. So as we start to walk through this workout, one of the very first things we want to think about as we are starting to look at our workout regimens. Now, if you happen to be on social media, I did a post today that talked about walking. And walking is, I would probably say, when I meet with people, that is the most common form of exercise that I hear about. And when people tell me they walk for exercise, my first reaction is to not right away come back and say, hey, that's not exercise, because for a lot of people that is getting them up, that's getting them active. Walking has a ton of benefits. But I want you to think about from a perspective of strengthening your heart, from adding variety and surprising your body, to what that does for long-term health as far as from a fitness perspective. No matter what program we're doing, if we don't surprise ourselves, usually after about 4 weeks, we plateau. Our muscles are not going to continue the same growth. We are going to be increasing our risk for injury because our body is more prone to know what's coming. And we're going to notice that long-term, some of our systems begin to decrease. for example, our cardiovascular system. If you continue to walk, and let's say you've been walking regularly for, again, I'm going to throw out there 4 weeks. If you were to watch your heart rate during your walking patterns, maybe you add some hills, maybe you add some speed, but I can almost guarantee if walking is your main form of exercise, your heart rate stays very stagnant. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of Polar products. I always wear a heart rate monitor, but I feel as though if you watch your heart rate, you will be surprised that you're not getting a lot of cardio. And we're going to notice injury risks are so much greater for people that walk more than 2 to 3 days a week as their main form of exercise. Now, I encourage you guys to get up and move. Okay, that's not the focus here. We want to make sure we're moving, we're active. Walking is great. But if we're looking this from, again, exercise, guys, we want to be adding more. And that's what we're going to share here with one of, again, my workouts here that's on our app, on our website, AV Wellness. You guys are kind of seeing the backside here. This is where I have this video stored. This is called Cross Training 2. So as I'm showing you guys some of these movements, I want you to just be thinking about, am I doing that in my routines? Or how could I add some of these things to better myself and to help me move forward with improving what I do? And no matter what we are doing, I want you to think about implementing options that are going to be geared towards long-term health. So guys, stay away from the trends, stay away from these fast ballistic type workouts that can be very dangerous because they're not controlled. And our body, again, needs to continue to have all areas of fitness implemented into our workout regimen. So we're not just doing cardio, right? We're getting away from what research used to say of doing cardio 5 days a week, heavy cardio. They're now switching and saying, hey, we need to be strength training at least 3 days a week for women over 40. We should be doing cardio 3 to 4 days a week, but we also need to fit in there mobility, right? Which ties in flexibility along with endurance and balance. So we have lots of things we can work with here. But a lot of times I feel as though people get into a routine and they stick with the same movements. And this is where I want to give you guys some ideas and showcase, hey, wow, there's so much more we could be doing to help our bodies. And this doesn't have to be time consuming, guys. If you look at our website and app, all of the workouts are 5 minutes and 20 minutes. Now, I was just reading a study from Mayo Clinic, and this is very exciting and interesting. Let's say, for example, you were to monitor on a regular basis a 90-minute workout that you were doing for cardio. If you were to take that 90-minute workout, and again, look at all the benefits, they are saying now that if you focus in 20 minutes in doing workouts that incorporate HIIT and intervals and strength training, you can get the same benefits in 20 minutes as you can in 90. And again, for us being busy, that is very important to highlight. So one of the very first areas we look at in our workouts is making sure that we warm up. Now, again, lots of us jump right into our workout, whether, go out for a run, whatever it is, we don't take the time to warm up. Now, this is very important to do because we're preparing our body, guys. We're getting blood flowing, we're getting oxygen, and we're going to help reduce later, lactic acid storing in our muscles because we properly warmed up. So the guidelines are still saying a good 3 to 5 minute warm up. Now, I'm just going to kind of be scrolling through some of my movements here to give you guys some ideas in this workout what I do for a warm-up idea. Now you're going to notice in every single one of my workouts, and right now we have over 50 of them on our site, but they are all different. No two are the same because again, I am big on the philosophy and I have personally implemented for several decades of my own workouts, teaching classes as much as I do. And not one time have I been injured. I should probably find something to knock on, but I have never been injured. And I believe a big part of that is because I do different things every single time. So as we warm up, you're going to notice here, we're starting with an arm circle. Okay. We do one arm and we focus on range of motion. And as we continue to do that, what are we doing, guys? We're specifically warming up into a joint. And again, that is very, very important. Next, you're going to see, we start to add squats. Now I want to highlight here right away here, a position here to look at as we are starting to warm up with a squat. Now, every single movement can be modified, right? So you're going to see some of us, our squats are not as deep, okay? You're going to see a little more hinging on some of us. But one of the very first things that I want you to start to identify when you begin any workout routine is I want you to watch your feet. I know that sounds really funny, but looking down at your feet, every movement starts from your feet. I just had a client I met with on Saturday. She's had a ton of knee problems. One of the very first things that we did is I watched her gait. was I videotaped her and showed her her right foot and how excessively it was outwardly rotated. Now, if we continue that pattern, we are going to notice things start to hurt, and then we start to compensate. And before we know it, we are injured constantly. So I want you to take note. First thing, look at your feet. Now, ideally, you want toe to heel, nice straight line. That's where we want our starting position to be. Now, you're also going to notice throughout this warm-up, we are doing what's called a dynamic warm-up. Again, old school used to be to stretch before your workouts. Now we're finding if you stretch before your workout, you have a greater risk of injury. So you're going to notice here, we are combining movements to create full body. And again, you might say, oh, that looks really coordinated. We want to challenge our brain, guys, and our mind to work with our body. And if we just go into autopilot, now again, sometimes, yes, hopping on a bike, going for a bike ride, walking, great, right? Because we're just kind of, we're using that as a time to focus, trying to, maybe rejuvenate ourselves with getting some fresh air, great. But we want to be looking at here how we can continue to challenge all planes of movement also. So as you guys are watching this next movement we go into, we're working a reverse lunge. We are going backwards, right? We're not working all frontal plane movements. There's our frontal plane, there's our sagittal plane, there's our transverse plane. And ideally in our workouts, we want to be adding lateral movements, front, back. You'll see here, we're adding upper with lower body. And in this specific movement, this is excellent for opening up your hip flexors because we spend much of our day sitting, right? So do we need to do a lot of workouts that are in a seated position? Most likely, no. We do need to get up and we need to be moving more, right? So then you're going to see us going into one leg working at a time here. Okay, this is a great surprise to start to create a little overloading. So our muscles are going to have to start to work a little bit harder. Again, this is still a warm up. We're just working a knee lift motion. But one of the things that you'll also see as you watch workouts, or if you've ever done group fitness classes, and again, feel free to comment, guys, if you have a favorite type of workout. I'd love to hear what you do, and feel free to, again, throw in any advice here or comments. But you want to be cautious of having the music be too fast. Now, fitness music is generally programmed to a certain what's called beats per minute. Now, I do not do any of our cardio workouts unless it's something like spinning, where we're not going to the beat, but none of our workouts generally do I ever go faster than 135 beats per minute. Why? Because our brain takes a little bit of time to then travel to your muscles to tell them what to do. So if you're trying to keep up with something that's really, really fast, that's where we notice a lot of these sudden back injuries, knee twisting, strain in the elbow, shoulder gets pulled out of joint because we're going so fast and trying to keep up. So I want to encourage you to think about when you are, again, if it's a group fitness class, make sure that that instructor is using the music safely and that you're keeping it at a safe speed. Now, the other thing that I want to quickly mention for, again, maybe some of you guys, as you're joining in here, welcome, guys, as I see a couple more of you popping on here, that we want to also note that many times we always, and again, you might never think of this, but you might always lead with the same side. So for example, if you are marching in place, you always lead with the right foot. Okay. If we're doing, a side squat, we lead with the right foot first, but we want to continue to use both sides. But for many of us, we are always dominant on one side, right? But we always tend to lead with that dominant side. So again, think of even challenging yourself, like when you do a Sudoku puzzle, how it fires a different part of your brain. Your workouts can be that same thing by challenging yourself on varying what you are leading with. So you will see throughout this, guys, that I am mirroring you. So if you're doing this workout at home, you're actually standing on your left leg first, because we want to, again, surprise ourselves here. Now, again, where we're gaining a little mobility in our hip here, we're challenging that side motion, right? Instead of keep everything to the front. And this is still during the warm up here, guys. Okay. Now we're going to the other side. We're going to work that same combination with that left side leading, and then we work into the knee and the rotation. But then we start to surprise ourselves here with a little pattern. Okay. Again, this is a little coordinated. We work a frontal plane lunge with 3 little hops. So Lunges, you're going to see here a big variety of lunges. You're going to see here as people are stepping, our goal is to keep our knee over our heel, okay? But I have one particular person in this workout that I told her, you really need to keep that step really small so we're preventing too much pressure onto your kneecap. So listen to your body, guys. Just because this is a combination, we can modify this in any way. You'll see some of us, when we're doing the little hop, it's a calf raise instead of a jump. But again, we're surprising ourselves. Maybe we want the impact. Maybe we are going for that little higher heart rate challenge, and we can do that. Then we can also vary up our lever length, adding arms. Think about movements that you do and how you can change up adding upper body with it. The more that we add our upper body, two great things. One, the more calories you burn. And two, the more it works the non-dominant side of the brain, because now you have to work and coordinate upper body with lower body. So very, very beneficial to add different arm positions with the legs while they're moving. So now you're going to see here, guys, first we start to prepare. We always want to take the time to break down the movement first. See, now we're adding on. We didn't just jump right into this. We ease into it. So think about that with your other workouts. For example, maybe you start with a squat, then you add a calf raise, then you add a jump. Progressions will really help your muscles to have to get the most benefit of putting forth energy. So you will see here lots of different patterns we're going to work through, but you're going to see here that I'm always cueing form. This is very critical. As we are moving, one of the biggest things that we can do, and we talked about this in one of the previous lives, is as you're moving, engage your core. Even while you guys are, if you're sitting, you're standing, maybe you're laying down right now because it's a little late, but think about pulling your belly button to your spine. Okay, that is a great awareness piece for during your workout to help with utilizing your core, even though you're not specifically targeting your core in a lot of these movements. Now you're going to see here, guys, we are working some balance. So here is another area that I talk about a lot. Some people have their toes down, some people do not, but you're going to notice we are working on trying to improve where are those weak links for us. And if you guys maybe notice, yeah, I sprained my ankle 3 times, or, I feel my knee twinging every once in a while when I do this certain movement, I can almost guarantee you it's because you have something weakened that you haven't focused on building back up. And this is where the balance comes into place that is so important. So balance, you're going to notice here again, we just changed up our arms. We're lengthening the lever. So now we're getting more extension through our spine. We're utilizing more muscle groups, which helps us to burn more calories after our workouts, just like strength training, guys. Okay. So again, we add variations. Now we add a combination, right? And this is, again, you're going to see us all kind of struggle once in a while, but that's the goal, is to keep finding ways that we can maximize a movement to make as many things in our body surprised as possible. Again, we're getting away from the things that we just can do automatically, right? We are trying to, even if we're lifting weights, if we are strength training, how can we change the movement? Instead of just doing a straight up shoulder press, can we add an Arnold press, for example? Palms towards you, palms reaching forward as you lift up. Change it up. Here, we're adding pulsing motions, okay? So we are trying to overload our quads, okay? We're flexing, we're sitting back, and we're trying to really think about challenging a different position for a squat. Ideally, this is a squat, right? But you will notice the more that you utilize large muscle groups like this, again, the higher your heart rate's going to stay. And again, this workout is about 25 minutes. This is one of the only ones that's over 20 minutes on the site. But I love the fact that you will see here as we keep moving through this, that we have covered everything that I said to you guys at the beginning that is important. All different challenges. We have some strength. Lifting your body, guys, is strength training. Doing things that incorporate, for example, this is a bridge position. Think of how much work right now your triceps have, your glutes, your lower back. Now, I encourage you guys to think about, maybe some workouts you've done recently or in the past. How many of those workouts target your backside? Most of our workouts tend to be more frontal dominant. Quads, okay, that's usually the most common area that people tend to work because they like to walk. But doing something like this, you will be amazed at how hard this is and how, again, challenging it is to even add a travel. So when maybe somebody starts this, maybe this is your first time, you might just start by holding the bridge, right? But we want to keep moving into that next place of where we don't plateau. That's why you're going to keep seeing options added, because we don't want to get to that place where I always feel like, oh yeah, I could do that for another 20 minutes. I want you to feel like, no, I'm going to stop throughout that. And it gives you something to work towards. So I'm always trying to incorporate that into workouts. As nobody should ever leave and say, oh, that was easy. We always want to keep working to that next place. And again, we are working to the other side. We repeated this going the other way. And then here's again, another example here, guys, as we start to work through here. I'm going to show you guys here just a fun little option here that really gives us a combination here. You could use this as an interval. This is a great one. We worked a side lateral hop, but notice how we catch ourselves at each end landing on one foot. Then we have the option to either squat or hop. Look at again, all the different movements. Look at our feet. We want that toe position to be nice and straight, like we mentioned at the beginning. We're continuing to surprise ourselves. We're adding options to work here in different ways here, guys. So we progress here, working down to the ground here. Push-ups, again, like a plank. If you can do a plank and you can hold it for more than about 30 seconds, it's time to mix it up. Same with push-ups. You might think, oh, push-ups, I can't even do 10 of them. But no matter what, if you keep working on doing those 10 push-ups, they're going to get easier. So we want to keep thinking of how we can surprise ourselves. So you notice we had some variations here. We did first, we were tucking knee to elbow. Now we're doing a great little range of motion exercise with it. We have some people on their knees. We have some of us on our toes. But again, you'll see here, guys, for form, hips can be a little high in a plank, right? But we do not want the hips dropping to where we're straining our lower back. So you want to think about, just like I saw a little bit ago, belly button to your spine, keeping everything engaged through that middle, guys, and really try to be, conscious as you're going through the exercise. I don't want you thinking about what you're going to be doing later in the day, or, that you had a rough day at work and now you're struggling to stay focused. I want you to think about what you're doing while you are exercising, and you're going to find out you will get so much more benefit when you're actually conscious of your movements. All right. Now, like I said at the beginning, when we started with a warm up, okay, it was dynamic. Now we're at the end. This is where we're going to hold our stretches. We want to spend at least a good, again, 3 to 5 minutes of our time maximizing the ability of, now that our body is nice and warm, to effectively hold specific positions. So this one here, you're going to see stretches into the hip and glute. Some of us are going to be having our knee down. Some of us has our back knee up, but your focus is on stretching into that hip and glute. And again, if you were counting, we are holding this for at least 30 seconds. Okay. So again, I'm adding on, giving another variation. Some people might be staying in that up position. That's all they can do right now. But this would be a fun advanced variation to add on to a basic stretch. So even while we're stretching, we don't do the same things. We don't just hinge and reach for our toes. Once in a while, we add crossing the legs, or maybe we add a balance position with this. Maybe we add toes up. We can change this to make the stretching even more beneficial than if we were to just go through the same motions all the time. So our cool down, think of the muscle groups that you mainly identify during your workout, and those are the ones we want to optimize while we stretch. Okay, so again, a lot of times it can be hard to figure that out. That's why it's helpful to have guided workouts, but you do want to make sure that you are stretching appropriately and that you are taking the time to do it. Again, don't rush and at the end say, oh, I got to go. You need to make sure you are finding the time to stretch. And you'll also see that throughout our, history of teaching classes, one of the ones that I'm always continuing to incorporate is something that identifies more ways to lengthen, because that is what I'm finding more and more as we are getting older. We need to do more that incorporates elongation. Because if we're doing, for example, all lifting weights, our muscles are getting tighter. And then all of a sudden we can't figure out why, we can't get our hands flat anymore, because we have created so much tension and our muscles are tight in our wrists and our forearms that we're starting to keep our fingers curled, or we're developing really tight traps and shoulders because we've been doing so many shrugs and overhead presses and we didn't stretch and reverse some of that contraction. So we need to release some of that tension. And that's where that stretching should be incorporated, guys, no matter what, into your workout, or make it a workout itself. That you will notice online, I have now started putting up weekly workout calendars that we have the ability to now choose. Monday is going to be a cardio focus. Tuesday is going to be strength. Wednesday is going to be mobility, but we can throw in there different options to be able to make sure we are getting everything we need into our workouts. All right, guys, feel free to pop any questions you have in here. I am going to go ahead and stop this recording because I last time forgot to record this for those that could not attend on Zoom. So I'm going to stop the recording, but feel free to put in there any questions you